Alrighty, hello YouTube, my name is Narwhalman. I'm going to help you get better at Destiny 2 Crucible. So some things to know about me are, I've hit Legend 2 seasons in a row, I get it next season and I hit Unbroken, super excited for it. But anyway, I've been playing a lot of Survival the past week, and I've been amazed at some of the fundamental mistakes I've been seeing people make, friendlies and opponents. So I want to help you all get better by just telling you, hey, this is a mistake, don't do that anymore. And I feel like hopefully you'll learn and you'll get better. But anyway, let's get started. First things first, this game is a fast-paced FPS. Hopefully if you've been playing, you know that by now. People are aggressive, there are lots of abilities going everywhere, which brings me to my next thing. This is an ability-heavy game. You can have great gun skill, but still get destroyed if they use their abilities better. It's also very meta-heavy. It's not uncommon, it is very common to see 3 stasis hunters all running like 120 RPM hand cannon with a shotgun. If you don't know what RPM is, that's rounds per minute. But a 120 RPM hand cannon with a shotgun is very popular to see. That's pretty much meta right now. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I've never been a huge meta person myself. And also, this game has noticeable aim assist. Like, you go play a different game, come back to here, I guarantee you you'll drop more headshots, drop more kills. Alright, my first tip for you, arguably the biggest one, is peeking. When I'm peeking an angle, I'm always thinking to myself, what is my opponent's health compared to mine? So when I'm shooting at someone in blue elbow, just that one shot, I tagged them once in the head, that was it. But they shot me twice. I have awful aim apparently, so I'm really low, so I back up. And not only do I just back up from the angle to right here, I back all the way up a little more, because they're going to want to throw a grenade like along there. Granted, if they shoot one there, I might get touched, but they're really going to try to throw it here, because I think you're going to sit right here. It's a very common thing to do, have the grenade finish up the kill, so you back up a bit. Make sure you don't get exposed for another angle, so you don't get killed from an off angle, but you back up a bit, and then you take a different angle on the guy. That hunter's over there, re-peek a different angle, you shoot once or twice, you tag them a bit, and then you re-peek, swing wide, because at that point you have advantage. And then, if they run away because they have health disadvantage, then you hold. You hold the angle. You have the advantage because you're holding now. It's so strong to know how to peek. Peeking is so important. And when you're low and you're basing your survival on them just hitting you once, that's not smart. You're going to die, trust me. If you don't die, you're going to die 10 more times then. It's like a 1 in 10 chance that you survive. And then also, know your guns. I can't believe some people do this, and I actually used to do this, so I guess I can believe it. But it's so tempting to want to try to tag their sniper with some little gun or a non-sniper in general. And I will see people peek some big long range with like their sidearm, their SMG, or like real quick they'll peek with their AR for half a second and not actually intend to go for the kill. That's so a bad idea. I'm sorry, I can't believe I used to do it. But it's such a bad idea because their sniper, if they flick to you, you die, right? And then they're fighting a 3v2. They're going to close in on your teammates, and you lost the entire gunfight because you just wanted to tag their sniper a little bit. But you never intended to kill him, but the sniper intended to kill you. So your team just lost the fight. On the flip side, don't peek up close with your sniper or your scout rifle. Pulse rifle is kind of eh. I know some people do, but I think really you should leave that to your close range gun. In general, I like to have a long range gun like the scout rifle and a close range like the shotgun. If I'm running sniper and auto rifle, it's kind of like my close to mid range, and then the sniper is the long range. Or if I'm running fusion rifle, that's a short to mid, and I use Hawk Moons, that's like a short to mid. But granted, that's not my strongest loadout because it doesn't have much long range, but you just learn not to beat the long range angles with that, which is okay. Perfectly fine. Anyway, Another good thing to do when you're peeking is find good peek points. You know how I was showing you standing right here? I did that on purpose. It would be so much better if I did the entire fight from down here. You know why? Because they can only see your head. Granted, that means if they hit you, they're more than likely going to hit headshots, but if it's a sniper, they can easily double body you if you're up here, and honestly, I hate dying to that the most. That like bothers me so much. I don't know why, but I hate getting double bodied by a sniper. Or, if you're not using a 120 hand cannon, make them have to hit all 3 headshots. Make them aim well if they're going to kill you. It's perfectly okay to do that. There's nothing wrong with it. You're not like a rat or anything. It's totally a good idea, and it keeps you alive. Or even, you can quick peek. Not a lot of quick peek you can do in Destiny, but you can do a decent amount of it, and it's really strong because it's fast paced, so people don't expect you to quick peek. They expect, if you're going to run out, you're going to run out, right? But sometimes you can kind of like quick peek, and granted you can die real quick, so sometimes what I do is I slide. Granted I have cryoclasm, so I can slide across the entire lane, but just quick peeks like that are really strong because you surprise them. That's what you do. You really surprise them. You don't stay in sight for very long, so it's hard for them to snipe you, and you surprise them, and then you know exactly where they are. Alrighty, on to my next tip. Characters and abilities. I'm really sorry to tell you this, but this is going to be a lot of trial and error. But anyway, once you've found the character you like, hopefully you have by now, you need to learn how you like to jump, how you like your barricade, or I'm sorry, your class ability. Generally, if you're a Titan, you run a towering barricade, because I think that's definitely better. But anyway, you find out what you like, what you don't like, which branch, which subclass. It's all just according to you. I think you can make any subclass, any branch good. It's just which one's easier to make good. Some of them are actually truly bad, if you ask me. Depends on what you're talking about. But it also depends on what kind of a player you are. I like to use stasis because it's really strong, but also because I like the different mechanics I can use with it. But anyway, learn your abilities as I said before. I can't stress enough how much you should know your abilities. You should be able to just comfortably use your abilities and not even think about, oh, will that actually help? You know? You should always be confident when you're going to use your ability because using them at the correct time is so important. So, now I'm going to tell you how to use them correctly. Use them correctly by using them. Learn what works. Learn what kills you. If there's an enemy hunter and you're a hunter main that kills you with some weird ability that you weren't expecting, try it. Maybe go into a quick match or a private match and try it out, just like I'm doing right now. But a couple of things I can show you are like, I found out that my ability, my melee ability, I like it most for mobility. When I get out into an angle, like peek too far, granted, this is kind of a bad example, but every now and then you kind of go out and then you realize there's like 2 people watching you and you're going to die in 0.01 seconds. I use it to get away out of that situation. I don't care if I take some damage as long as I don't die and screw my team over. I just get out of there. And also, with your barricade, I use them very efficiently. I try to use them only when I need to. Even though I run max resilience on my characters, I try to run them only whenever I need them because I don't want to be in a situation where I need one and I don't have one. Along with knowing how to efficiently use them, try to always keep an eye, just always know what abilities you have or don't have ready at the moment. But anyway, next thing I want to talk to you about is learn what counters you and learn what you counter. Kind of like what I said earlier, but mainly, this is also a really strong thing, knowing what wins. Before Beyond Light ever came, before we even thought about freezing any of our Guardians, we used to use other subclasses, obviously, but I used Top Tree Solar, and I used Incendiary Grenade because I loved it. Even though it wasn't a one-hit kill, it was still really good, I thought, if you use it correctly. But anyway, I found, because a lot of hunters were using Spectral Blades at the time, I found I could jump up into the air and throw my hammers. That was pretty strong, because generally, you know, they wanted to get up close on you, so I didn't even have to predict that much, and I could shoot them before they even get to me. On the flip side, if there was a Dawnblade active, I never popped. I'm gonna be real with you, unless it was like last round, it didn't matter anyway, if I died or not, or if I died, we were gonna lose the game, then I'd try and just use super, but Dawnblade countered hammers because every Dawnblade ran Icarus Dash, so I couldn't predict them unless they got up close, but why would they? Anyway, granted, that's probably like nothing to you because I doubt anyone here is a top 3 solar main or even a Titan main that's also solar because now with stasis, other things are so much better. But it's just finding those things out. I just want to give you some examples as to what I'm talking about because I promise you, you find out how to correctly use them, like efficiently in general, learn what you counter so you can just bait them and then counter them with your thing, gives you free kills. That's so strong to know. I can't tell you how much fun it is. And plus it gives you a general positive vibe. And it sounds really stupid, but when you're feeling better, you're going to be playing better. So when you kind of do some funny things, you bait them into countering them, because you have a better ability, you have an ability that counters that, they don't expect you to have it. It makes you feel good because you're like, oh, got him, you know, and you're excited. You're feeling good, your aim's going to be better, you're all feeling good. And it makes your team much happier because then they're in that 3v2 mode. And then they're also like, oh my god, you baited him, no way. Especially if you're playing with friends. It's definitely a team booster which really helps in a game like Destiny where meta can be so frustrating. Alrighty, the next thing I want to talk to you about is dying. More specifically, learning from your deaths. So as you see, I'm going to rush and flank through tunnel. Obviously, no one is here, so I'm not really flanking anyone. But when you're flanking, or just in general, when you die, you need to ask yourself 2 questions. How did I die? Was it hit registration because that's pretty wonky in this game? Or was it my aim? Or was it somebody used their ability better than I did, like I was talking about earlier? Could have been many things. There's also something else that I'm just going to reach us to our next question, is where was my team compared to me? If I was all the way up here pushing out and my team is over there, you know, both of them are over there, right? That is my fault. Because granted, I can see them, they're like 3 seconds away, but they can't see all of that. They can see over here, they can see, you know, down blue elbow, but they can't see the stairs until they get about up to here. Then they can easily get sniped. There's just so much they can't see and can't help you with, so you need to stay with your team to an extent. Or I can not push as hard when I'm flanking. Sometimes you're going to flank really well, and then your team's there, and then you get a pick, and you finish up the kills, and you win the gunfight. But sometimes you need to stay farther away from your team. Like, you know, if you're rushing out that far, you need to stay closer to your team. But sometimes, if you're all 3 like together here, you've got your Titan's ramparts up, you're shooting, yeah, you know, we're chilling, we're shooting, someone flanks, we can be okay, we're starting to fight that, someone dies on our team, the flanker gets a kill, and then these guys rush forward, so then we have to look at them, they kill us, and we all die, right? You can't be that close together or else you will die like that. Or just by the simple, they throw a stasis grenade, you know, then you die. So what you need to do is, I like to say stacked but split, so you keep some space between each other, but you're still very close, like, you know, you have one person here and one person here. That's stacked but split, because you can easily get over here, like what, 1 second, 2 seconds. And you can also cover each other's angles. So like, you know, I was talking about over there, couldn't see open stairs, but now you can see open stairs. You can also see See, like, they can't see blue elbow, but you can see blue elbow from here. Stacked but split, and then also you can still have your flanker. You can still have your flanker. It's perfectly okay. You go around, but you're stacked but split. That way, you're not going to get closed in on. You can easily go to help each other, but you're also getting out there. You're flanking. You're taking care of them. Alright, so a couple of the tips I have for you are, you don't need number 1 meta. I think I'm a perfect example of that. While I do run Stasis, I'm a Titan main, and I do run a shotgun, but I run Duality, which requires more skill, more aim than Felwinter's, because Duality you have to hit the head. They have about the same range, but Felwinter's you can aim for the chest at the same range that you have to aim at the head with Duality. And also, I use a 150. I don't use a 120 hand cannon, or I don't use Dead Man's Tail unless you go against that team of 3 guys like all Stasis Hunters. They're all running their 120 RPM hand cannons or their shotguns, or maybe they got some God tier sniper. At that point, when they're like really using hard meta on you and they're good with it, that's never I kind of swap over to Dead Man's Tail, Felwinter's Lie, and I make it easier on myself. Because granted, they're not a lot better damage-wise, but it's so much easier on yourself, less requirements, you know? When I'm using my Scholar, if I hit a body shot, I know right away, okay, I need 4 shots. If I'm using Dead Man's Tail, and I hit a body shot, I'm like, okay, I can still win this in 3 shots, right? And it's just, every now and then, you go against that meta team, and some people are using meta because that's the only way they think they can be good, so they're really not overly good anyway, and you can still ruin their day. But some teams, mainly the 3 stacks, when like they're all using meta, that's when you're kind of like, okay, they're confident, they're gonna hard meta, right? So every now and then when you see that, it's not bad to have meta on the side, but just keep in mind that you really don't need number 1 meta. You can do perfectly fine without it. It just takes a little more work, which I think shows a little more in the end, because Destiny's fast-paced, and a lot of people are hard meta users, and I think kind of shows something, makes you feel better about yourself, and you're like, I don't need meta, I'm good without it. And then also, play as a team. If you have friends that play Destiny, and like they're worse than you, when you're playing with their friend, try to teach them a little bit. Try to say, hey, make the callouts, or like say, hey, you shouldn't have done that whenever they died. You know, like if you're playing Elimination, and you're dead, and you see them, you're like, when they die, you should be like, hey, you probably should have gone around that way. Or when you're dead, you can look at them and just tell them, like, where to go. Or if your friend's better than you, just try to convince them, say, hey, please play with me in, like, Elimination since it's Valor-based, you know. It's just a matter of trying to play as a team. Or if you're solo queuing, play off of your team. I promise you, some games you can, some games you really can't. I believe most games I can generally play off my team if I'm solo queuing. Like, if I'm running through here and I notice I got 2 friendlies pushing up main right here, I'm not going to push up with them because, like I said earlier, that's like us stacking. So I want to go around, try to get an off-angular flank. Works really well. Or if I notice one person is pushing main, and I notice one person's trying to flank, I'm going to help my buddy in main. I'm going to try to help apply pressure, make our flanker go unnoticed, right? It's all about just knowing how to play the game. Just in general, like 2 people pushing main, 1 flanker. That's a very common push. And you kind of just watch your teammates, you see what's going on, and you're like, okay, I can play off of them. And at the end, if you notice they're a really good team, you like how you played together, in the end, you go into team chat, say, wanna stack up, right? Or sometimes they'll ask you, and it's like, yeah, sure, why not? Honestly, I'd say definitely join them if you can. It's always better to play in a team with callouts than to not. I think you should always try to give callouts when you can, especially because when you die, you can look at your body. You know, your dead ghost, you can see everything around it, or like when point is happening, or due to overtime, you can see point, whether you're dead or not, or whether your dead body is there or not. So I definitely suggest finding a team, friend good randoms, and stack up when you can. I try to do that every now and then. Like sometimes there'll just be this team we're kind of popping off together. It'll be like, yeah, mind if I join? Or they'll be like, hey, you want to join us? And And so we just send each other a friend request, hop on in, and we're chilling. Then we win like the next 3 games, right? Another thing to know is that abilities aren't always for direct kills, like your grenade is what I'm mainly talking about here, or your melee ability if you're like a top tier Dawnblade, you know, they've got Celestial Fire, arguably one of the strongest melees in the game. I can tell you why in just a second here. But anyway, your abilities aren't always for direct kills. Sometimes just use like flush people out, keep them from peeking an angle, stuff like that. But I'd say first of all, Celestial Fire is like arguably one of the strongest melees in the game because it has a faster activation time than any regular melee. But anyway, your abilities, the reason why I say that is because some people just like kind of, when you're in the beginning, they'll just kind of like lob the grenade for no good reason. Don't know why, but your grenade is so much better used. And I can show with that. I'll show a Dustfield grenade. You can show with, or you can keep them off of the peak, or if they're low, like I talked about at the very beginning with peeking. So you know this person's right here, I'm over here, and I get them low, right? I get them low, and I want to try to finish them off. I overthrew that a little bit. I just got on today, but I overthrew that a bit. But you understand, sometimes they're not for the direct kill, sometimes they are. But when they're for the direct kill, it's not just going to kill them from the very start. Generally, you should be using it for a direct kill whenever you're trying to finish them off. So let's say that Dustfield Grenades pulled him out. Shot, dead. Right? That's simple. I think you should definitely keep that in mind because people just kind of lob the grenades for no good reason. I don't understand why they do that. Other times are like when you're trying to cover someone in, pin someone in, right? Like you got someone pinned in a tunnel here, and let's say you want to make sure they don't run out. Like grenade here. You kind of throw it like right there, and you know they're about over here somewhere, you kind of throw it there. Run in shotgun, you know? Simple as that. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. But, you know, you just run in, simple as that, and it gets you the kill, but it's not like you're using it for a direct kill from full health. Abilities, knowing how to use abilities like that are really strong, and then also another tip on how to use them is like, if you know someone's sitting right here, which is a really bad spot because you can get easily grenaded, but anyway, if someone's sitting right there, and Heavy's right there, you just throw the grenade. And you keep them off of it, that way they can't grab it. Granted, in 3v3 modes, Heavy will be right here, not up there. This is because I'm in 6v6 Mayhem, even though I'm alone. But normally Heavy would be right here, and same strategy. Like they put that barricade up, you know, the really common thing to do, especially in 3v3 modes, is to put barricade on Heavy. So they put it there, they grab it. Well, what you do to stop that is you like throw it on the barricade, then they can't grab it. Simple as that. But just knowing how to use your abilities is really strong, gets you that extra kill or two, which can mean the difference of the game. Another thing is, following on with the abilities, you don't have to use them just because you have them. And I realize that sounds weird, kind of stupid, but I'm going to explain this to you. So, when I'm using my Icefall Mantle, I think a lot of people think this exotic is awful, plain awful, but I think it's really amazing. It's so nice to clutch with. I know some people who like to use it just to peek in general. I think that's kind of stupid because I will use a scout rifle, therefore I'm not using a sniper. I understand if you're using a sniper, but if you're going against a sniper and they headshot you, you're going to die anyway, even if you have Icefall perked, even with 100 resilience, which I've tested. But anyway, you don't have to use them just because they're applicable. Because when I'm using Icefall, I can't run, I can't double jump, I can't do anything except for walk, crouch, and jump. I'm like a normal person now, right? Except I can't run. But, you know, I'm like a normal person for a fast-paced PvP game. This is not very good, right? This is what you think. But sometimes, when you're like, in a bad spot, you're behind a corner, you're pinned, then you know you're going to come at you. What I like to do is I like to come to the wall, get my free 3-peek in, shotgun, because if I know they're running at me, you know when I do that 3-peek, I can see if they're running at me, and I just shotgun. Immediately know when they're coming, you just shotgun them out. stuff like that, or if I'm pinned and I know I'm not going to run anywhere. So, like, if I were in a tunnel, this goes away. If I were in a tunnel and I knew they were coming at me, I would, like, use my ice on here, maybe even pop Icefall, but probably run out here. So I probably wouldn't pop Icefall. I'd throw my ice there, run out here shotgun, because when they're pinning someone, they don't expect you to get aggressive, which is really kind of funny, because the way to win those things when you're getting pinned is go aggressive one way and just fight the other once you've regened. But anyway, like I said, use it when they're applicable. So I could have used that, and I could just try to slide through it. But no, I'm going to go this way, go for that kill, back up, regen, repeat. Obviously, I wouldn't have regened in like 2 seconds there, but you know, you wait a couple more seconds, then you repeat. Or, you see they're moving on radar, you come over here, peek over here, right? Simple as that. Using your abilities when they're applicable, when they're most efficient, is such a strong thing to do. I kind of like jumble 2 tips into 1, but I really think that gives that extra kill or 2 per game, or even kill or 2 per round if you're in the lower ranks and they don't know how to do that. It's really helpful because then you win heavy, you win a round, it's so strong, or like you beat a super out, it's really good to know and practice. And my very last thing for you is try not to be a one-trick. And what I mean by that is don't only be good with one loadout. That's one thing I think is awful about meta users. You can be amazing with meta, but if Bungie just changed everything up, they grabbed a new meta, for a while, you'd be awful. Because you'd have to reacquire meta guns. You'd have to go find out what the new meta is, grab the new meta gun, and then get it, and use it. For me, unless they were to nerf these, I'd be fine. I don't use hard meta. Even if they nerfed these, I could always pop out with Fusion Rifle, Hawkmoon, both very strong guns, but these 2 things aren't going to get nerfed. Like, they recently buffed Fusion Rifles, they're not going to nerf them, I don't think, but anyway, even if they nerf them a little bit, neither of these are classified as really strong in OP, so even if they went and nerfed these some, it wouldn't be much, they'd still be pretty strong. Or if I were to go use even this got nerfed kind of. I mean, 600 RPM auto rifles got nerfed. I could always swap to like this. Not exactly what I want to use, but it still might be better than this for the fact of they nerfed 600 RPM auto rifles. But I can always swap to different things. So you don't want to only be good with one loadout, or else you get stuff switched on you, or you have a team of all like weird loadouts and you're all running shotguns and then you have no range. For some reason, you might be running like sidearm shotgun, all of you. And then you guys have no range, so you're easily destroyed by snipers, right? You just gotta keep that in mind. I want you to be flexible, have a wide arsenal. A wide arsenal is such a good thing to have. You don't have to be amazing with all of them. Trust me, you really don't. Like, as much as I have a sniping build, I'm not overly strong as sniper. I do not snipe like a diamond or a legend player in survival. Trust me, I don't. So that's why I don't like to use it often, but every now and then whenever I'm feeling good with my aim, I'm like, okay, I'll use it. But I'm also good with a hand cannon fusion rifle. It requires some more timing, although I have more range, so I've definitely beaten some people out who try to run up and shotgun me. You catch people off guard when you're using a fusion rifle. That's one thing I've noticed, because they expect you to get up close. So that first shot of their shotgun won't kill you, because they expect you to get up close, right? In the very first round, they try to get up close on you and shotgun. Well, if you get back far enough, they don't kill you with the first shot of shotgun, and you charge up your fusion rifle before they get close enough to you to shotgun again. So, like I said, get a wide arsenal. I think that's not a huge big deal, but I think it's really strong whenever you're 3-stacking, so you know how to play different roles and help your team win more fights because you have more variety in your team composition. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you have any questions, please put that in the comments, or any more ideas on what you want to know, like in a later video. I plan on posting more videos in June, but I am pretty busy right now. I just was working really hard to get this first one up, but I will definitely try to get more videos out. And once again, thank you for watching.